Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Takeaway Tuesday with Northern Stamper. I am very excited today. We are doing a fancy fold, and I can't wait to show you what we're going to be doing. This is going to be very exciting. We are using the Floral Charms Designer Series paper, and I just love it. But I always love all Designer Series paper. I really like this one because I like the color combination that's in here. I think it's really, really nice. Just to let you know, if you are following along with Takeaway Tuesday, don't forget to look for the Takeaway Tuesday package marked number 2, and that is for today. You want to take a look at that. Okay, so looking for Takeaway Tuesday package number 2. Don't forget to join me for Takeaway Tuesday in September. We're going to be using the Gathering Together suite, and basically most of it is with designer series paper, so you can grab the package with me for $35, and it's going to be 5 cards for the month of September. Plus, the last week of September, I have got a whole week, Monday to Friday, of fun activities, challenges, and stuff like that, all related to fall. I don't know about you, but I love fall. I love everything about fall, especially the leaves. So join me for Takeaway Tuesday in September, $35, and you will receive like a little package like this to follow along. And again, it is for 5 cards. And it is going to be a lot of fun. As I mentioned, Takeaway Tuesday today is using Floral Charms, and I love the designer series paper. The front, the back is always so hard to choose which one. And like I said, we're going to be doing a fancy fold card today. Now, I know some of you had asked for fancy fold cards, so I listened to you, and we are going to be doing that. I also want to remind you that for the month of August, there is a sale going on. And if you purchase anything that has in color sale items, it is 15% off. So that includes anything like kits, Stampin' Blends, inks, cardstock, ribbon bling, anything that has the in colors in it. If you choose a suite or a package like that, it will be 15% off. Check out my store. You can find it by looking for my name, Tina Kavergich, or if you can't find it and you need some help, drop me an email at northernstamper@gmail.com. I want to thank Lori for sending me this great card. Look at this. I just love the large words on this. It looks really nice. And she added so many different elements to it. There's some ribbon with some little leaves on it. It's really fantastic. And this is, I think it's she embossed it like heat embossing, so it's shiny. It looks really great, and inside is like a little note. Oh, I really appreciate it. I love this. This is really, really pretty. Thank you, Lori, for sending me that. I really appreciate it. So let's get started with Takeaway Tuesday. And we're going to open my package. And one of the things you're going to notice, this is the card base, and this is Pretty Peacock, and it's a single sheet. Okay, so you got a single sheet there. There is a bubble bath, or maybe it's a slightly different color of pink, but we're going to go sit right on top. And you're going to see that this is a fold open card, and that's going to sit right on top. It should already be folded in your package, and that's going to sit right on top of that. Now, we're not going to glue it down yet because we need to do some work with this. You're also going to notice that you have, oh my goodness, this gorgeous Pretty Peacock and gold ribbon. Right, got that. And there's a coordinating piece of cardstock that is slightly larger. We're going to do something with that. I'm going to show that to you. And inside is a little sentiment tag that I've punched out for you. Those are the items that are in the Takeaway Tuesday package, but what you need to do is bring in some of the designer series paper from that floral charm. In particular, you're going to be looking for the one that has these roses on it. And what you're going to do is you're going to cut this to 3 3/4 wide by 5 inches tall. Nope, apparently I didn't cut it to 5 inches tall, but we will be cutting that. One thing before you cut anything, when you cut, I want you to kind of move it around. Like it should be a 6 by 6, but move it around, because what you need to get is try and get one of these roses as full as you can. You want to try and get as much of the leaf as you can. Now this one's kind of cutting off a little bit. That's okay. There's one's cutting off a little bit. That's okay. But what you want to do is try and get one of the flower blooms set off so that we can cut these out. We're going to be fussy cutting these guys out. So move around your designer series paper to try and get as much of the bloom in the cutoff piece as you can. Okay, so that's a piece of designer series paper. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. Let's cut it down. And I'm going to cut it down to 5. And this will be sitting on top of that beautiful, beautiful pink. See how the color combination matches in there? That's what we're looking for. So we have this cut down. You do need to bring in another piece of the Floral Charm Designer Series paper. This is one of my favorite ones here, but we're going to be using the back side. There we go. And it is the same color as our card base, which is Pretty Peacock. Okay, so you're going to be cutting that down, whoops, 1 1/4 to 4 3/4. So it will sit on the tag that we're going to make. So let's cut that down to 4 3/4. There we go. So we have our pieces all right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start assembling them. Now, let's take a look. Let's move this guy off to the side. Let's move this card base off to the side. And all I'm going to have left is this piece here that is that fold open. Okay, I'm going to look at that fold open. And what I'm going to do is take my designer series paper that I've cut to 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm actually going to glue it to the front of this card portion here. There's no ribbon going behind it, so that's okay. I can glue it down. Add a little bit of glue around. And we're going to place it on top. Okay, there we go. Let's take that off. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to take that cardstock piece that is like a strip, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and I'm just going to score it right about here. And I'm going to score it at 5 inches, because what's going to happen is it will actually fold over everything. So I'm going to take this one piece and I'm going to score it at 5. Now double check that you're using the scoring blade, which is the lighter color, and not the cutting blade, because that would be sad. Okay. All right. So it is scored at 5 inches. So if I take that piece of designer series paper, which is 1 1/4 by 4 3/4, it should fit on there all the way around. So I'm going to fold this one piece over like that. And now you can see that it has an edge all the way around. Now, again, I am going to be wrapping a little bit of ribbon around, so I can't glue it down yet. So I'm going to get my ribbon, okay, and I'm going to get some tape. Now I'm going to do a shoelace kind of tie, right? So, which means I'm just going to take it, I'm going to wrap it around near the bottom. I'm going to add some adhesive, just some tape to hold it down. And I'm going to cut a little piece off here. And let's wrap that around. And tape it down. So there's and now because I've wrapped the ribbon around, I can actually now glue this to the little strip here. Okay. I'm I'm going to take that and glue it to the strip. You always want to wrap the ribbon before you glue. Now there's sometimes I forget, I get so excited making a card and I glue it down and I forget to wrap the ribbon. Okay, going to glue that down. Nice and flat. There we go. Okay. And I have these pieces and I can start assembling onto the card base. Let's bring in that card base. Now this piece is going to fit on here, but before I glue it down, I'm going to take our little strip. Remember we cut at 5 inches here. Not cut, we folded it at 5 inches here. This is going to go around the whole piece that is the fold here. Okay, it's the whole piece. So we got that open. I'm going to put it off to the left-hand side a little bit. Just a little bit so I can still see some of the designer series paper. And I folded it over onto the back. I'm going to tape it down. Now it's gone over both pieces. Okay, so when I lift this, I'm going to lift this and this piece will open like that. See? And just to make sure, I put the tape down just to secure it, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Again, wrapping it around. There we go. I have this piece now secure on the back, which means now I'm not doing any more work. I can place it on the card base. And I'm going to make sure I put enough adhesive around. I like the liquid glue because it really sticks when it's dry. I'm going to place that onto the card base itself and press it down. Okay. Now before I go any further, okay, I'm just going to let this dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to fussy cut out some of the flowers here. Remember when you cut the designer series paper, you were taking care to make sure that you had like a bunch or a cluster of the flowers. And I'm just going to take one and I'm going to follow it around and I'm going to fussy cut because we are going to be using that on the front of the card. Right? This takes a little bit of time. Just take your time cutting and you're going to notice that I am moving the paper and not so much the scissors. I'm cutting with the scissors, but I'm moving the paper kind of like I'm driving the paper. All right, let's kind of go down. Cut off that little piece. There we go. And actually, I'm going to cut a little closer and cut that off. And what we want to end up with is a cluster of flowers. Okay. If I want, I could kind of manipulate these and have them, I can cut them completely off, or I can manipulate them and kind of make little points on them, but I'm going to cut them completely off like that. There we go. There's one cluster. And I'm actually going to use the next cluster, but I want to try and get these leaf parts out on it. Because I want to place some behind here. So I really want these leaves, so I'm going to cut this flower out and focus on the leaves to kind of add some depth to my little bouquet. Let's add that. And there we go. There we go. So I've kind of cut these leaves out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop them right behind there so it looks like it's a little bit more of a leaf on there. So if you got any pieces that are hanging out that you don't want, you can kind of tuck them in a little further. What you could do is you can glue it straight down, but if you want to give it more height or dimension, add them with dimensionals, okay? In between the leaf and the flower bouquet. We're just going to add that in. Just kind of gives it a little bit of height. Just going to add that in. And this way it's not flat on flat. And what we're going to do is we're going to be placing that bouquet roughly about there. Now I want to add a little bit more ribbon to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of pieces, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to tuck it in behind. I'm just making a V shape. Okay. And I'm going to be taping this at the back. So just making a V shape and taping it along the back. If you enjoy what you are seeing here as I create, don't forget to hit the like and follow button so that if you hit the follow button whenever I go live, you will be made aware. So I'm going to be adding another piece of that V shape to that behind the flower. It just kind of adds a little bit more. I don't know if you can see that. It just adds a little bit more. And I'm going to do that across the way. There's another little piece. And we're going to add that. Just adding it with some Scotch tape. Okay. And what I'm going to do is place it on here. And what I want to do is just be aware that when you flip this flower up, that a lot of it is, hidden. Okay, so otherwise, if you have this piece hanging out, it won't be so pretty. See, that hanging out won't be so pretty. You want to kind of angle it so that those pieces are kind of hidden. All right, with the rest of the ribbon that I have left over, again, I'm going to make a little shoelace knot on the card, on that piece that we wrapped around. Okay, just a little shoelace. And we're going to work with it and pull it tight. Okay, there we go. You can see I've pulled it tight. There we go. Now before I glue this down, remember that circle we had? We're going to be placing that kind of on the strip here. But before we do that, we need to stamp a sentiment. And when I stamp, I know that this portion is going to be behind on that strip, so I want my sentiment to be roughly about the bottom right because I'm going to add embellishments to that. And you can look for a sentiment that fits in that little tag. Hopefully there you can find something. I am going to use this thank you, or I could use the thinking of you from Sketch Butterflies. I just think it is, this makes a nice kind of thank you card. And we can place that on. So I'm going to be stamping it right about the bottom there. So you can see. I know it's a little far away from the camera, but I want to make sure that you can see everything. So I'm using Memento Black. Let's just stamp this, make sure. Oh, that's good. And around the bottom right area, straight up and down. Okay. Here we go. So you can see it's on the bottom right area, and I've left some space for some embellishments. Now I can start gluing my little bouquet and my sentiment on. So I'm going to place my sentiment just above where that ribbon is. And, oops, I'm going to double check on where I'm placing it. I'm not going to move it. I'm going to lift that up. Add some adhesive on the left side of that, right where it's going to hit that strip. Okay, you can see it's right there on the left. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that in place and bring this back down and press and hold. I am going to be using some dimensionals. Now I can add my flowers. And again, I want to make sure everything is hidden. Okay, just make sure that. Oh, look at that. It's going to fit really nice. I can twist this a little bit. Again, making sure that that back part, your mechanics, let's call it, is hidden by that strip. So if I put it like this, this piece under here. Just want to make sure I have enough dimensionals so it will stick. Always hide your mechanics. Learn that in flower school. So there we go. Place that on there, just above that sentiment. And let's see if it worked. Lifting it up, all the mechanics are hidden. Look at that. Oh, that looks fantastic. Okay, and in your little package, there should be some embellishments. Let's take a look what we got here. I'm just going to add some on here. Oops, this one's stuck on me. There we go. Going to add another one on here. We add our embellishments, and if we have anything left over, any pieces of designer series paper or stuff, we can put it on the inside. So there we go. What you do now is you flip up this one strip. You could see all of the beautiful designer series paper, and then you open the card like this for your sentiment. And let's take a look. You know what? I think I want to add a little strip of paper on the inside. And I'm just going to cut a piece to fit on the inside. And here we go. Just on the inside like that. I like that. Let's decorate the inside. Okay. Put a little piece. That was a little scrap I had left over. We can put it in there just like that. You can stamp a sentiment, or if you have some flowers, you could stamp on the inside. But this is a really nice card. It's a little bit of a fancy fold. And there we go. One. There we go on the inside. Fold and fold down. What a simple card that is. But look, the flowers, I think, really make it stand out. I love this. I love the color combination of the Pretty Peacock. Pretty Peacock is one of my favorite colors. I don't know about you. Give me a thumbs up if you like Pretty Peacock. So there we go. What do you think of today's card? Like, super simple and very easy to do. I think this design would work great for many cards. Don't forget to hit the follow button. Then you will be able to see whenever I go live. This Facebook Live will only be around for 30 days, but you can always catch it on my YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please drop me an email, northernstamper@gmail.com. And if you feel like you wish to purchase any of the items or Takeaway Tuesday for September, drop me an email. And my name is Tina Kavergich. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you have a creative day.